What is good, backup singers? It is your boy Joey Sings, and welcome back to my channel for a brand new video. If you guys are new here, listen to me good when I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, honey. But if you're not, that is a-okay because you clicked on the right video today, honey. And I'm about to make you feel so much better, you guys. Today, your boy is diving back into Animagician, I believe is how you say the name. If I'm saying your name wrong, boo, and you see this video, I am sorry, you guys, but they uploaded a video about Philza's secret lore, or something about Philza might be the villain or something. And I was like, wait a minute. We is not fit to villainize Mr. Philza. No, we won't, not today. No. He is the king, okay? In my eyes, and I love me some Philza. Now listen, I'm ready to get into this video and see what the story is, honey, and what is going down. So if you guys are excited, did you forget that hashtag Joey Sings to 100K was the thing, honey? Because I feel like y'all ain't been subscribing. Y'all ain't been telling y'all friends to subscribe. The numbers ain't moving. What it is, friend? Go ahead and smash that subscribe button as well as hit that bell today, honey, so you get notified when I upload brand new videos like this. Period, honey. I'ma shut it on up. We finna get into Philza possibly being a villain or something, Lord. I don't like that idea at all. But let's get into it. Here we go.
So you wanna know who I really am and where I've been and what I'm gonna do.
Alrighty, you guys, I got the video pulled up, and you know what time it is, honey. I'm pressing play.
Philza is one of the lesser appreciated characters in the Dream SMP lore,
Facts.
rarely getting the spotlight and appearing as a protagonist even less. But, and only the real hardcore fans will know this, there's secret lore behind Philza's character that you probably don't know about. Lore that could change the Dream SMP forever.
Ooh.
But to talk about this lore, we need to take a quick refresher course on Phil's lore. He's Wilbur's canonical father and is presumably friends with, or at least acquaintances, with Technoblade in a different land, somewhere far from the SMP. Phil also didn't come to the SMP until much later into the story than most other characters, but being Wilbur's father, he was kept updated on the SMP's happening by Wilbur, who wrote him letters. The entire SMP is a Hamilton copy anyway. Wilbur Shoot, more like Wilbur Soot, who really wrote like he was running out of time and embellished these letters to an incredible extent to make himself look good. And this means that pre-Phil joining the SMP, although he had a vague knowledge of the SMP's happenings, since all he knew was what Wilbur had told him, he believed that Wilbur was basically unable to do any real wrong in this new endeavor of his. Which then brings us on to Phil actually joining the SMP. It's a personal theory of mine, and one that I'll reference later, that Techno, on hearing of Wilbur's plan to blow up L'Manberg and being concerned about Wilbur's well-being, finally took it upon himself to write a letter to Phil, and that is why Phil rushed to the SMP, desperate to figure out what he was actually doing, if not the things he now knew were lies thanks to Techno. That letter theory does have a lot of things to disprove it, so it's not really the main part of this video. The only way Phil managed to get to the SMP in time, however, was by using his canonical wings, which sprout from his back and he can use to glide, much like in Elytra. Wilbur then blew up L'Manberg, and Phil, acting on pure parental instinct, used his fragile wings to shield both himself and Wilbur from the colossal explosion, irreversibly damaging them in the process, and then mercy killing Wilbur after being begged to do so.
I have wings, but then someone decided to blow up something, and I used them to shield my son. I was gonna ask Dream, be like, hey, can I have Elytra, and then just like,
Oh,
I have
wow.
Elytra, and just like fucking curse of binding that shit, so I can never take them off or something, and then I'll just go around building shit. I'll like fly out somewhere, build like floating islands everywhere, just like crazy fucking cool builds, and that'll be just what
I
do.
love
We're gonna fast forward
Philza.
a bit here now because the Phil side of lore gets a bit slow, and you're here for the action-packed bits.
Yes, we
Or,
is. We here for the
as
action, friend.
action-packed as block game roleplay can be. Anyway, Phil joined L'Manberg to try and fill the hole in his heart he had made by killing his son. After a while, Phil started to get dissatisfied with Tubbo, who was the ruler of L'Manberg, mostly due to a lack of maturity. What was this lack of maturity, you ask? Well, you see, Tubbo was, how do I put it, stealing from every citizen of L'Manberg regularly and calling it taxation. Anyway, because of that, Phil started to grow closer to and align with Techno more and more. This went on until Phil became Techno's only friend, and this was solidified when he was put under house arrest while the Butcher Army ransacked his house for a compass in order to capture Techno. He managed to escape and spied on the army as they caught and brought back his ally, and then escaped L'Manberg himself with Techno's help. He was one of the main players in doing so, to build and conceive the massive massive TNT cannons and the withers, and he was motivated to do this because he blamed L'Manberg as a concept for his son's corruption, and was also personally hurt by the nation's government because, as we all know, he had to kill his son because of this nation corrupting him.
Exactly.
This, however, led to Ghostber getting angry at Phil as friend had died during Doomsday, and then Phil tried to consensually revive Ghostber, but failed. He was also highly involved in the creation of the Syndicate and found a home for himself in the Antarctic commune, which was also inhabited by Randu and Technoblade. But wait, you see, throughout this entire thing, there's one attribute of Phil's that I haven't mentioned.
Oh, what?
Phil has always only ever had one canon life, a reference to the man's hardcore world on the part of the writers, but an attribute that doesn't really have a canonical explanation. After all, Phil's hardcore world isn't canon to the SMP. And that, dear viewer, brings us to the secret lore part of this video. Before we can get to that though, please do go into the description and follow me on Twitch. I stream there a lot and we have a lot of fun.
This about to get deep. Okay, I'm excited.
Dream SMP members aren't live, so you won't have to abandon your streamer. It's a win-win. Anyway, back to the video. I've explained this in a previous video, but there's a huge theory here. A theory that started by giving me the idea to research Phil's lore just a tad more, with a blatant and canonical appearance from perhaps the most beloved non-SMP member amongst SMP fans, Mumza. There are a lot of headcanons on the SMP, and the headcanon for the clip that's currently playing in the background is that the person who made this mystical forest, the person who Phil called she in chat during that clip, that is Mumza, and Mumza is also canonically the goddess of death. There's a lot of explanation behind this theory, and I covered a few cool tangents that would be present if this theory was true in a previous video, but there's more still.
Wow.
For example, the theory is instantly given credibility by the fact that Sadist made a drawing of it. Sadist, who literally drew Phil's wings into canon with this scene from the Dawn of 16th animatic, and therefore has set a precedent for drawing things into existence on the SMP. It also gives us a canonical explanation for Phil only having one life. Sure, it's a nod to his hardcore world, but since that exists in the SMP canon, instead,
that is insane. I love these videos for multiple reasons, but it's the fact that you get to learn more about these characters. You know what? Somebody is sitting down, doing their research, and putting together this masterpiece of knowledge for reactors, for me, for people who love the Dream SMP, to be able to really get into it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Anna Magician. Shout out to you, friend, because I'm going to butcher your name, so I can't butcher your name no more. But let's get back into this amazing video, honey.
The reason for Phil's one life is that the goddess of death loved him so much that she took the other two from him, not to harm him in any way, but just so that they could be that much closer together. She was, in essence, pulling Phil closer to herself by pulling him closer to death. This also does explain how Schlatt was revived, but like before, I've covered that in another video, and in short, Schlatt was always going to be revived, and Wilbur, who was Phil's son and therefore indirectly had Mums's ear, needed him to be revived as endorsement in the election, and both of these factors led to Schlatt's revival. Now, these are great theories, but there's more, and I want to
it's more, y'all.
Sharpie Chen for this theory. They'll be linked in the description. This lore is unexpectedly to do with the egg. Phil showed in the past that the egg can affect him, initially calling the vines cozy and warm, before hearing what they were telling him and snapping out of it. He's anything but immune to their power, like Tommy and Techno have claimed to be in the past. And this is where Technoblade comes in. The egg draws people in by saying it'll give them what they want, and that's how it got Bad, that's how it got Ampharos, that's how it got Plants. The thing is that Tommy and Techno are both immune to the egg in this sense because, well, Tommy already has his discs. Techno already has achieved his goal of blowing up L'Manberg and ridding the server government. They can't be influenced by the egg because it doesn't have its greatest bargaining chip. There's nothing it can promise them that they don't already have or want. But there's another catch. The egg has also actively declared its hostility towards every SMP member it sees as a threat. Every SMP member, in short, that's immune, because they can't be swayed to its sides by false promises and clever deception. Every member, that is, except Techno. And now we come back to the recap, because remember, Phil is Techno's only friend, his only attachment of the SMP members after Tommy betrayed him and Wilbur left him. The only person who could emotionally manipulate him on the level that we required from the egg to take over them. And therefore, Phil's lore being able to be controlled by the egg and Phil's involvement in nearly every aspect of Techno's life could lead to the blood god himself being beaten by the Bloodvine. All because of Philza. But again, that's pretty much all conjecture up to this point. It's a cool theory, but there's no real evidence to back it up. There's
This
no
is
real proof of
okay.
any of what I'm saying having any credence on the SMP. Or is there? There's one singular one symbol, one recurring object that proves this theory to be at least reasonable, if not true. And that item is the Wither Rose. Again, thanks to Tumblr user Morally, linked in the description for finding this out.
Hey, Morally.
There are very few instances of Wither Roses on the server. Since farms aren't allowed, fighting the Wither and getting roses from Withers killing entities is a waste of time and also extremely hard to do.
Ooh.
The places where it is used can be counted on your fingers, and let me list them off for you. We have the In-Between from Carl Jacobs' Tale of the SMP lore, where it's above nearly every book used to communicate with Carl. A rose is also seen in Rambu's house, in Hannah XX Rose's house, and on the Syndicate table, at the center of the secret and deadly organization. And finally, we see a rose in Quackity's lore teaser, and at the Red Banquet. There is one common thread that links all of those places together, and one thing that connects all of these wildly different locations and places and people on the server, and that is corruption. I made an entire video on the In-Between's corruption, which I'll link in the description for you to watch after this video, and it's also very clear from the lore that the people who communicate with Carl through these books, the people who were leaving the Wither Roses there, are bad. But apart from that, Rambu's Enderwalk state could be described as a corrupted form of him, doing things he would never do and wreaking havoc. Havoc that the normal Rambu not only has to clean up, but also deal with the consequences of. Interestingly, Rambu is also part of the Syndicate. Hannah, who was literally a rose and has him represent large aspects of her character in the lore via her skin, was corrupted by the egg, and then we saw the Wither Rose pop up inside her house. It was present there before, but again, it was there the entire time, and lore is planned ahead of time. Quackity, who when in character is perhaps the SMP with Lost Nevadas, bending the rules to extract information from Dream and trapping Techno. The Syndicate, but we'll get to that later. And finally, the Red Banquet, where the egg was strongest, the egg whose crimson vines and infiltrating infectious influence could easily be called a corruption of the SMP's land and members. There is one last place on the server that has a Wither Rose. One last place, apart from the Syndicate that I haven't mentioned, one last place where corruption symbolically must be present. That, dear viewer, is Philza's house.
Oh, Lord,
Phil
Philza.
is knowingly or unknowingly the corruption inside the Syndicate. That's why he has a Wither Rose, despite Techno having virtually limitless withers. That's why the Syndicate has a Wither Rose on their table. With two of their members corrupted, with Techno impervious thanks to his morals, and Nikki on the influence of revenge above all, even the egg rather than corruption, it all adds up and supports the theory of Phil being the egg's key to the Syndicate, to Techno, to power, and thereby to domination.
No.
The view on screen now is a video with the revival book and its true origins on the Dream SMP. It's got some of my best editing ever, so I'd recommend giving it a watch. Subscribe.
Oh my goodness. That was good, honey, and I'm here for it. Alrighty, you guys, there you have it. Meet reading the Philza secret lore, you guys. Is he the villain? I still don't think so. Period, you guys, but all of this was so good and very interesting. So thank you, and shout out to you again, magician, because I'm not fit to butcher your name. Okay, what can I call you? I don't want to butcher your name. Listen, I done butchered it 3 times. Oh my goodness, y'all. If you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, go ahead and give this video a big old thumbs up, honey, and leave me a comment down below letting me know, do you think Philza's a villain? Let's talk about it, you guys. Don't forget to smash all, no, what am I saying? You guys, don't forget to check out all my social media down in the description box below. You guys, don't be lazy. Just click show some more. You can see Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, all of the above. All of that, honey. Come follow me. Period, you guys. If you haven't, go ahead and smash that subscribe button as well as hit that bell so you know if I want to upload brand new videos like this. Period. Y'all, don't forget to most importantly, love yourself, love someone else. I will see you guys next time. Deuces.